We advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Well, thank you so much. It's the 27th of December, year 2022. I am Jethro Kaseiji, sitting in for Michael Jordan Lokomwa, who is not feeling pretty well. Yeah, probably because of the festive season, but I know I'll try to fit into his shoes. And guess what? We are talking about Timex Nutrition Center. We are talking health. Very many of us are eating a lot of things that we do not understand. Sometimes we don't know the repercussions that they have onto our lives. We are always glad to have Dr. Tamale Ismail from Timex Nutrition Center to always take us through a number of issues as far as our health is concerned. Doctor, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Hope you had a nice Christmas and Boxing Day.
How was your Christmas, by the way? Hope you celebrated it very well. You enjoyed everything?
It was fine.
Very much. Well, Doctor, a number of things have been happening. I was trying to follow part of your programs, and I tried to look into the questions that people were trying to ask. The last program that we had, we talked about a number of issues. We talked about diabetes, pressure, arthritis and kidney ulcers, and a number of issues. But today you have a number of questions to answer, because every time you come on set, very many people are left in space, but good enough you're here to always give us your time. I want us to start with Ewan Chebet from Kapchora. He went ahead and asked, how does Timex work and what are your charges? Let's start from there.
Okay. Mr. Chebet, at Timex Nutrition Center, we do what we call nutrigenomics.
Yes.
Nutrigenomics is the highly specialized science of nutrition. And here, what we do, we determine your blood group. Then we do a lot of measurements on your body, the angle of your jaw, the lower leg, the upper leg, the fingerprint, the finger length, and so on. Then combine them together with the blood group, then we get your genetic information. After getting your genetic information, then the system will advise you on what foods to eat and not to eat. The foods to eat are the ones which are supposed to support your genes, to give you health, to make you avoid diseases, treat diseases, and prevent. The foods which are regarded as not to be eaten are the ones which are giving you diseases and health. Actually, the longevity, because people usually ask for how long should somebody, why some people live for a long time, others live for, now, the lifespan of a human being is a function of the mixture of the things he's eating. If every day you are eating more wrong foods against your body system than those which support you, then you may end the journey below 60.
Doctor,
then those who eat more good foods than the bad ones, they can end their journey above 90. So that is where the irony comes in.
Doctor, don't you think the possibility of having particular foods, I may want to have a particular food, but because of the situation I'm in, maybe financially, that I go for particular foods?
That's why particular people placed in particular areas where foods which are compatible with their body systems are not there, they end their journey very quickly. Because if the body system will take in the food, but the food will go to give you diseases and cause you a lot of problems.
Okay.
That's where the problem is. So after giving you the foods to eat, we even show you what exercise to be doing. What exercise should your body do? Some people's body system, they are supposed to be in the gyms, running, working out. Other people's body system are supposed to be sitting in a very quiet environments. Lock yourself in a room, stay there. That's a very good exercise for you.
I thought when talking about exercise, doctor, you have to do something a little vigorous.
No.
Sweating.
Yes,
makes your body sweat.
Each body system has an exercise profile. If you took, for example, blood group 8 teacher GT3 and you took him to the gym, he will come back when he's very tired, he's exhausted, he will put on more weight, he will be more stressed. But lock him in a room and be alone, you'll find him losing weight, becoming calm, and so on. But if you put a blood group O heart, a GT1 into a gym, aerobics, and so on, he comes out very well energized, with a lot of energy, with a lot of refreshment. So each body system has an exercise profile. So after that, we show you also the lifestyle strategy. How should you conduct your life as a particular genotype to avoid stress and control stress?
So what is the best way, doctor, for one to understand the particular foods they're supposed to
That is by coming to Timex Nutrition Center. Then we genotype you. Then the system will tell you what foods to eat and not to eat, what exercise to do, and lifestyle strategy. And when you eat the right foods which are compatible with your genotype, that means the foods which are already flagged, which are giving you diseases and problems, are eliminated. So, one, your body system will be able to prevent all diseases. Diseases which have not come to you, they will not come. Secondly, the body system should be able to fight the diseases because it is given the right foods, so it has the right ammunition to tackle sorts of ailments that you have. Then you become younger. It's become anti-aging. You become, every day you eat right foods, you become younger and younger, because the foods which are on the red flagged part of the plate are the ones which are giving you old age. So then everything becomes normal, and
it's all about getting into the system and understanding what your body
then
needs.
You live a very healthy life.
Okay, hopefully our one Chebet.
And of course the charges, we asked about the charges. Yes. We charge on 140,000 shillings for genotyping to know the foods to eat and not to eat. But now if you start getting problems, because people come when they have diabetes, they have pressure, they have arthritis, there are some food supplements we give them. Now these food supplements are taken once in your lifetime. They don't take them again. They don't take 30 days. But they may cost you not a lot of money. You may pay 900,000 shillings for a lifetime. Because
and there is nothing expensive for your life.
Yeah, there's nothing expensive for life. If, for example, you have diabetes, you may require about 900,000 shillings. You take the supplements.
Very little for your life, to save your life.
Change the diet, the exercise profile. If you are taking some chemical medication, you can be on it for about another 30 days. After 30 days, you go back to GP. The sugar levels will not be rising. He will tell you to stop taking the medication, like many have been advised to. Yeah.
Okay, our one Chebet from Kapchora. Hopefully the doctor has really answered your question to understand better on how Timex works. Now, doctor, let's switch gears to diabetes. There is one who asked, one Gloria asked, can diabetes be treated and someone heals completely? And there is also Epokuna Israel from Bukedea asks, is it true that when you drink a lot of soda, like Mirinda or tea with sugar, that you can get diabetes? Then there is also Adima from Arua. I want to know, can physical exercises prevent diabetes and pressure? There is also Mary from Ginger. I have diabetes, arthritis, and kidney issues. How can I be helped? I want you, doctor, to look into all these questions.
Can diabetes be treated and somebody heals properly or completely?
Yes.
First of all, we have to understand that the disease called diabetes mellitus, there is no microorganism which causes it. It's not there. So you understand what is diabetes. Diabetes is inability of the body to break down glucose into ATP, the energy. And with this we have been teaching it here quite a number of times, that for when you eat all these carbohydrates, the posho, the wheat, the chapati, the the bread, and so on, all these carbohydrate foods,
yes,
they are broken down into simple sugars called glucose.
Yes.
Now that glucose has to enter into the cell, okay?
Yes.
For glucose to enter into the cell so that it is burnt into energy. Now when that glucose fails to enter into this, for the glucose to enter the cell, there must be something called insulin. Insulin is produced in the pancreas. That insulin comes in to open the cell for the glucose to go in, and then it is burnt into energy. What is diabetes mellitus? Diabetes mellitus is inability by the body system to open up the cells for the glucose which is in the blood to go into the cells to be burnt.
Okay.
And then eventually, a lot of glucose is now accumulating in the blood. It accumulates in the blood, then the sugar levels go higher than they expected. Then eventually, you are declared to be diabetic. So, one of the reasons is the inability of the insulin, of the pancreas, either not to produce the insulin at all, and that's usually diabetes type 1, no insulin is coming. Insulin is supposed to be produced by the beta cells which are found in the pancreas. Or the beta cells work, they produce insulin, but it is fake. The body system cannot use it to make this glucose to enter into the cell as you see it going in. Now, that is type 2. So we have type 1 and type 2. This one is type 1, which you are seeing now on the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
That is type 2 of?
Type 1. Type 1, the glucose you see, I mean the insulin is not there for the glucose to enter into the body system to be burned. So it just passes over. Then eventually you have an overaccumulation of sugar in the body system. Now for type 2, the factories work. That is the factories, what I mean by the factories of insulin is the pancreas, where the beta cells are. They work and produce the insulin. That is type 2. But the insulin, the body becomes resistant to the insulin. The body can no longer use the insulin to tap in, to open the cells for the glucose to go in. Okay. Now, either way, there is of the two types. The problem is where? In the pancreas. That's where the problem is. Where the insulin, which is coming, either it's not coming or it is fake. It is no longer able to open the cells. Now, that is the cause. Therefore, if that is the cause, there is no microorganism which shuts down these beta cells.
Doctor, talking about the two types, type 1 and 2, do they differ in any way when it comes to being dangerous to the human system?
Of course, type 1 is very dangerous because now the factories are completely shut down. And usually with such people, they give them artificial insulin. They inject themselves all the time to try to control the sugar levels in the blood. Okay. Type 2, the insulin is coming. There are some medication they give to try to increase the sensitivity of that insulin so that it can do some work here and there.
So is it a gradual process? Is it from 2 to 1 or from 1 to 2?
No, actually it is usually from 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
But there are people who start with 1. Some people are born with an inability, Some people are born like that. It could be genetic. Others acquire it in the process. But the problem is, there is no microorganism which is destroying the beta cells, not to produce or to produce fake insulin. Okay? There is no what? Microorganism which stops it. And that's why in the whole world, scientists have done so many things. There is nowhere in the world where they are going to tell you they are going to vaccinate against diabetes. Never. You cannot diagnose again. You cannot vaccinate again.
It can't be cured in any way.
So it can only be vaccinated in your cup, plate, and glass, and it is brought by the cup, plate, and glass, and it is treated by your cup, plate, and glass. So if you adopt the right diet, okay,
yes,
which will go back to reconstruct the beta cells in the pancreas to bring insulin which the body can use, the diabetes will go. But you cannot treat diabetes when you are busy eating the very foods which are destroying the factories.
So, doctor, however much you've talked about the inability when you're given birth to with any of these types. So, meaning following the right procedure, this can be healed.
One can be healed if it was acquired, but when it is a genetic problem, then it becomes a problem. But 90% of the people who are having diabetes, they acquired it on their way along
the way
because of eating wrong foods. Actually, at Time Execution Center, for us, we know which foods are responsible for diabetes as per particular body system. We know that if this body system is going to eat A, B, C, D, F, G, he's likely to have diabetes.
Okay.
That's why when you come and we change the diet, we give you some supplements for a short time, then the factory start producing the normal insulin, then eventually the medication goes on reducing and then you become free. So diabetes can cure. But however, it can never cure if you're not tackling the root cause of the problem. And what the root cause of the problem is the foods. As long as you are eating incompatible foods, you will never cure for diabetes. It will be there. They will increase dosage from tablets to injections until it
And
shows you slowly but
taking
surely.
a lot of tablets, what I understand, doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
It weakens your
of course.
human body system.
Until it takes you slowly but surely to your grave.
Okay.
And picks another.
That was Mary from Ginger, right?
Then another one is a Pukuma. He asks, is it true that when you drink a lot of soda like a Mirinda, tea, sugar? No, it is not taking the sodas that causes diabetes. It is not taking the tea. Otherwise, everybody would be having diabetes. People are taking sodas, people are taking tea. It's not that causes diabetes. It is the foods which are not compatible to your body system, which are destroying the pancreas, to start destroying the beta cells, to start bringing insulin, which cannot be used to the body, to start acquiring the diabetes. However, if the factories have been destroyed, then you are advised not to take sugar and soda, because now you are adding in more glucose and the body system has no capacity to burn it. So that's why they tell you don't take it. When you get diabetes, then you are advised not to take them, because the body system has no capacity to burn them up.
Doctor, what brings about the low sugar levels that we usually hear about? They are brought about by a number of things. But one of it is people to start fearing taking sweet things. Like this man, like Mr. Pukuma, they say, well, if you take sweet things, fear.
You can easily get diabetes. So they not take this, and the body system needs them. So the sugar level, the glucose level is going down. They are not eating sweet things which are supposed to produce carbohydrates to bring the glucose in the body system. What do you expect? The sugar levels will go down. That's why even some patients who are having diabetes, one mistake they do, they say, they told me not to take anything sweet. So the body system needs carbohydrates, it needs energy. So what does the body do? It's just eating up the meat.
Doctor, do you think it's all about the ignorance at times in people that is leading to all this?
Yeah, of course ignorance is a big problem.
Because we all went to school,
yes,
we went to classes, and we've been taught some of these things.
Yes.
You know, they tell you for a cup of tea, at least put 2 spoons level
of course, ignorance
sugar.
And ignorance, actually, as you said. People just don't until problems have started coming up. Yeah, so that is so it's not really so it is all about the beta cell problem, other than taking sugar, taking soda. But however, when you get to diabetes, you are not going to take those things.
So for Epukuna Israel, what he needs to understand better is take the sugars but regulate.
And secondly, the sugars are not the one causing the diabetes.
Okay.
But it is the other things. Even if you don't take these sugars and you go and take a lot of things like wheat, water, there are so many foods, if you come, we can show you, you will get diabetes. And actually, many people who don't take sugars, they don't even take this time they're having diabetes.
What is the science?
The science is
things are getting complicated
as
day by
long
day.
as you are eating foods which are not compatible to your blood group and genotype, these are the diseases you are going to get. I told you diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, joint pains, asthma, sinuses, most cancers, tumors, fibroids. There is no microorganism which causes them. Doctor, and they cannot be vaccinated.
Let's go to Adima from
Adima says, I want to know, can physical exercise prevent diabetes?
And pressure.
Now, physical exercises, they don't prevent diabetes and pressure. But however, they can delay the development of diabetes.
They can only delay.
They can delay the development of the diabetes and pressure. Because we have seen the cause of diabetes is metabolism. And where is the problem? The problem is in the beta cells, not producing insulin, which is compatible for the body to use. Okay? So however much exercise you are doing when you are busy eating foods which are destroying the beta cells, the diabetes will eventually come in. If it had been like that, there would not even have been anybody going to manufacture medications for diabetes. They say you have diabetes every day, you run 10 kilometers and come back.
Doctor, does size matter?
Yes.
When it comes to diabetes?
Of
Because
course.
when you look at people who have that overweight, at times you say this one has diabetes. So someone like me, probably of my size,
of course,
weight.
you see, I've told you that diabetes is a metabolic disease. Metabolism means the rate at which the metabolism means the conversion of glucose into ATP, the body energy. When the body system fails to convert the glucose into energy, it may initially convert it as fats. Okay? Or when it even fails to convert it as fats, it remains in the body floating. So you end up with diabetes. So if you started up by inability for the glucose to turn into ATP and turn into fats, you put on weight. You start having high cholesterol in the blood. Then eventually the body system even fails to turn it into fats, and it remains floating in the body system. So people who are obese, overweight, who have a weight greater than what they are supposed to be, definitely they have more chances of developing diabetes, because already there is a signal that the body system is finding a problem in breaking down your glucose. So just know that the next thing is, if it fails completely to break it, if it fails to break into two fats which it has given you, it's going to start floating in the body system and diabetes will come.
Doctor, let's finish with Mary from Ginger. I have diabetes, arthritis, and kidney issues. How can she or he be helped?
I think this one, as you have, I think maybe you have been listening to our the discussions.
Yes.
What you have to do is to come to Timex Nutrition Center, and then we shall tell you, to advise you what the food, because all these diseases you are talking about, they are diet-related foods.
Okay.
So you can come to Kampala, at our head office on Nassau Road, on Conrad Plaza, on the second floor. We work on you very well.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Tamale. We are shifting gears to ulcers, Doctor. Lodrick from Kasese asked what causes ulcers. Then we also have Zipporah from Mundeje. Says, Dr. Tamale, what causes gastric gases? We also have the one Goreti Kakama from Masindi. She says, I was diagnosed with H. pylori. What diet can help me? What causes ulcers?
Okay, Lodrick from Kasese asked what causes ulcers. Quite a number of things are responsible for causing ulcers. The major cause of ulcers is poor diet. Eating foods not compatible. One of the major causes. As long as you are eating foods not compatible to your body system, the ulcers will come in. There is also a bacteria called H. pylori, which also causes ulcers, and this is mainly for blood group O's. But usually it's all about the diet.
The diet.
People used to say that, because if when you don't eat, you get ulcers.
Yes.
It's not true, because if it had been like that, many people fast, both in the Christian and Muslim faith, they fast. That means everybody after fasting would be running to clinics with ulcers. So it is not the fasting, it's not eating that is causing the ulcers. Something different. What are ulcers? Ulcers are wounds in the stomach. What is causing the wounds? Because ulcers are wounds in the stomach.
Good. What causes the wounds now?
What causes the wounds? One of it is acid in the stomach. Underutilized. And why does that acid cause the wounds? Because it's underutilized. That's why if you look at those ulcers, they manifest themselves in 2 points. You have the esophageal ulcers, the one as you are near the esophagus. Then you have the one on the stomach ulcers. Then you have the duodenal ulcers. Those ones as the food is going to the small intestine. In those 2 points, where there are constrictions. And why does this acid burn the stomach wall? Because it's underutilized.
There is one doctor who told me that.
Number one. Number two, yes, you can get H. pylori. H. pylori is a bacteria which survives so much in the acidic conditions, and then it manages to dig itself deep under the stomach mucus walls, and it stays there. And getting it out becomes a problem. But however, if you are taking the right diet, the body system will reject it out. That's why to us, ulcers will take about 2 weeks to cure. Because once you give somebody the right diet, you give him supplements for about 2 weeks, ulcers will be normal.
There is one doctor, a little bit. There is a doctor who told me that at times, even when the stomach is expecting probably real food, I go ahead and I chew that chewing gum. So as the stomach is expecting real food, now it is receiving that saliva instead. Does it cause ulcers? I have not yet eaten something. It
could cause ulcers, but that is just 10% or 5%. It could be one of the causes. It could be about 5%.
Okay.
But it's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the misutilization of the acids. The stomach. As you are going to see on the next, I think the one, somebody, the next, if you go to the next question
Yeah,
for...
the next, no, what causes gastric gases?
Gastric gases. Now, this gastric gases is talking of gastric acids. We have to understand that the stomach has got hydrochloric acid. Very strong. It is pH 2. At times even it goes to up to pH 1. Okay? You see, when they are ranking acids, the weakest acid would be 6.9. Very dilute. It cannot even react with the metal. But when the numbers go down, that's a very strong acid. Hydrochloric acid, pH 2, people have done chemistry and biology. It will react with the potassium and the metals and start making a lot of gases. This is the acid which is in our stomach. The major one, to help in digestion. Two, to kill any microorganisms that could have come on the food. And these gastric gases arise as a result if you underutilize that acid and you are putting there wrong foods in the stomach. Then the acid becomes like a conical flask. For those who have done some chemistry, there's what we call a conical. You would get a conical flask and you put there reagents, put there hydrochloric acid and put there potassium. Then to react and produce a lot of gases, hydrogen and so on. This is what happens to the stomachs of people. As long as they don't use the right food, that's what is happening. Because the acid is there, pH between 1.5 and 3.5. And it is maintained at level. There is an enzyme called ATPase. Its work is to maintain that level of the acid. Now, that's why genetically people of blood group O are the major victims of ulcers. Why? Because in their making, blood group O secretes more stomach acid, hydrochloric acid, than any other blood group. Why? The body system was made to be, they were the first people to be created. So they were in the bush, they were in the forest, so they were eating each and everything, and so they had to have a very strong digestive system which could do what? Which could kill microorganisms. That's why you see, if you look at the stomach of a blood group O, it's very rare that a blood group O is down with the diarrhea, similarly with the typhoid. The stomach, the acid in the stomach for an O is no nonsense. It will kill microorganisms. It can digest. That's why they are very good at eating meat and so on. Now, once the acid is underutilized, if your blood group O hunter and you make yourself a vegetarian because you have heard that when you are going to take a vegetarian diet, that acid is going to be underutilized. And the acid in the stomach does not sit there waiting for food. No. The moment something falls into the stomach, the acid will come. So once you have eaten foods, the body will bring the acid thinking that there's something to digest.
And there is nothing.
You have eaten, if the blood group was brought out of acid, you have just eaten small things, smelling green is what? The acid remains a nuisance. When it remains a nuisance, everything you start throwing in. Now the stomach is acidic. Everything you start throwing in, it bubbles. It's like putting potassium into hydrochloric acid. The things bubble, they start bringing all these gastric gases. In fact, 50% of the gases produced in the stomach is hydrogen.
Doctor, on that very point, how does one regulate some of these?
You can only do that by knowing the right foods for the body system. Once you eat the right foods for the body system, then the acid will undergo a proper utilization. Okay. But if you are eating the wrong foods, you are having a problem. That's why ulcers come in. In fact, that gastric, when you go back to the stomach, these gastric acids are gases. Okay? Eventually, there is a pyloric valve which is between the stomach and the esophagus. Because the gases, because their reactions become so much, they start hitting this valve. And when they hit this valve, now the acid starts coming up the esophagus. That's why you get people getting heartburn, getting these diseases called gastroesophageal reflux diseases. The acid now starts coming down the esophagus. Actually, at times it starts burning it and it causes this cancer. You have seen so many people suffering from cancer of the esophagus.
Doctor,
that's one of it.
I want to let us shift to the one Goret Kakama. She was diagnosed with H. pylori. What diet can help?
The only diet to help you against H. pylori is the correct diet for your blood group and genotype. Just come to Timex Nutrition Center. We shall give you the diet. We shall give you some supplements. H. pylori will be no more.
Very
The
good.
body system should be able to eject it out. It is a very stubborn bacteria. You can take one pylori kit after another one. Every time you go to test it will be positive. But when you come and you could eat the right foods, then it will be ejected out. One of the mistakes people do when they are having ulcers is to take milk. When you take a milk, you feed the bacteria.
Doctor, I am blood group B. I have constipation and a lot of bloating. What causes it? That is Johnny Mubiru from Chotera, and also Lugomvo Emi from Masaka says, what causes piles and hemorrhoids?
Hemorrhoids, I think.
Yes, hemorrhoids, yes.
Okay. First of all, constipation is caused by 75% of the cause of constipation is eating foods which are not compatible to a blood group and genotype. As long as you're not eating the right foods, you're going to get constipated. It's like having a maize, how do you call these things which you make? A maize meal.
Yes.
And you are putting there clean maize. The maize will be hit with 100 kilograms, will be processed in 10 minutes. The moment you start putting there maize mixed with the stones and what, it will take about 3 hours to grind it. So that's exactly what happens. Of course, other causes, as he's asking for the causes, include some type of medications cause constipation. Then
medication.
Yes, yeah, many medications cause constipation. And the good thing that every time you're taking a medicine, that's why I always tell our clients that once you have got they have given you a medication, try to read its side effects so that when the side effects come, you are not taken you don't get shocked. You are then trying to move up and down, panicking. I've got this one actually. It is caused by the medication you are taking. So those are some of the challenges that so constipation can be caused. Some medications cause constipation.
Yes.
Not taking enough water, but of course that is about 10%.
Taking out
then roughage, that's about 5%.
Yeah.
Then another major cause of constipation is the anti-constipation systems. People, when they get constipated, either they are going to take aloe vera, others they prefer to take tablets called laxatives. Now, these laxatives, their work is to, when they take the laxatives, they remove everything in the stomach by force. When those things are, even the intestinal flora, those are the bacteria which are responsible now for digestion, are also washed out. So the next meal you eat finds no bacteria, finds no intestinal finds no bacteria. What happens? You get constipated more. At the end of the day, the anti-constipation therapies and drugs become part and parcel of your diet.
Because at times, doctor,
that marks the destruction of your digestive system, because you have turned it from an auto system to a manual
system. Some of these things, doctor, happen even after realizing that you've been so keen and following the right procedures in your life. And before you know it, you're told by a doctor that, Jethro, you know what? You have constipation. You'd be like, how come? How come?
There is no better procedure than eating the right foods for your blood group and genotype. At least people have come to a nutrition center. You can ask them. That will be the first thing they'll tell you. That as far as they are concerned, the stomach opens up in the first 2 weeks.
Okay.
They start having no more.
Emi Lugomvu, doctor, what causes piles and hemorrhoids?
Now, when you get constipated, the food is spending a lot of time in the stomach, in the colon. Water is sucked out. So people start pushing these things out by force. In the problem, in the process, they start as the stuff is moving out.
Yes.
It starts bruising the cells around the rectum. You start getting blood. After going to a long call, it looks at the table paper, there is blood. That's hemorrhoids. Then at times they push with a lot of force, as if the test is coming out. Why? So piles and hemorrhoids are caused by constipation. As long as you are treating piles and hemorrhoids without treating constipation, you are wasting time. Actually, these hemorrhoids can even lead to operation. I've seen quite a number of people have been taken for operation or hemorrhoid. But then they continue eating the wrong foods, they go back a second time, a third time in the surgery. And now if you cut these things, you end up with colonal cancer.
Oh God. Things are not good, doctor.
Yes.
I want to reduce belly fats. What can I do? That is Aisha from Barara.
You see, Aisha from Barara, if you want to reduce belly fats, you have to understand.
By not eating too much.
No. You see, for us in Timex Nutrition Center, We start from the beginning. You want to reduce the belly fats. How did they come there? Was there a microorganism which caused them? Answer is no. Was there an injection which caused them? The answer is no. So they were caused by what? By the food. Is there anywhere in the world where they vaccinate against belly fats not to come?
No.
No. They are vaccinated in your cup, plate, and glass. So you have to come to an institution center. We shall tell you what foods to eat and not to eat. Then we shall give you some supplements to help you remove those belly fats. Once you take the supplements to remove the fats, then you'll be very sure that you're not going to add on anymore. Your belly will go away. That is it.
Doctor, may I go for my exercise? I'll do push-ups, sit-ups.
You see, yes, you can do the push-ups. You may reduce the stomach a bit, but as long as you are eating things which are putting on.
You know, doctor, I will eat the fat knowing tomorrow
So
I'm going for push-ups.
So it doesn't help to try to reduce something when you're not tackling the root cause of the problem. And secondly, exercises are not so much for losing weight or reducing weight. People should understand this. Exercises are their major work is to help have a strong immune system and have a very fit body system.
To what percentage does exercise qualify to the human body system when it comes to having a good health system?
They play a very big role, 25%. If you're doing exercises, the right exercise for your body system, they
Now,
play about.
you've complicated the issue.
Yes,
The right exercises.
because if you are going to do wrong exercises, you are going to collapse in the gyms. Those are the people you see collapsing in the gyms. He's a blood group A teacher, he's busy on a treadmill. He will collapse. While an O blood group O hunter on a treadmill, he'll become more energetic. Secondly, exercises to show that they were not meant for reducing weight. If it had been the case, football players would be like ghosts in the field because they're always doing exercises, one match after another. But they're
organized today and tomorrow.
Yeah, so the exercise is not really for losing weight, but it helps to keep a very fit body,
At least
a very
25%.
strong immune system, and also it delays the development of non-communicable diseases.
What quantity of water should one take? Namusoke Rosemary from Iganga.
Okay. The question now, this water, the amount of water human beings should take is a function of placement and activity.
I beg your pardon.
The quantity of water to be taken is a function of placement and activity. Give you an example. You have two men. One in Kampala. He drives a Mercedes-Benz from Kololo, takes, then is seated in an AC, then an office AC, is using a lift, and so on and so on. That's one type. Then you have another man, deep in Chankwanzi. He wakes up in the morning, digs 10 by 5 yards, takes cows to the field, tills the land. Now, do you think they can take the same amount of water?
No.
Answer is no. Two, if somebody is, Uganda for example, is humid, okay, hot and humid, okay, Saudi Arabia is hot and dry. If you're in Saudi Arabia, you can take 2 liters of water in the morning and you spend a whole day without going to the toilet for a short call. In Uganda, you just take 500 ml, half a liter, and you see somebody frequenting a toilet for short call. Why? Because so the amount of water taken is a function of what are you doing and where are you.
Does it matter cool, warm, cold?
It should be room temperature. The best water would be room temperature. And take it
at all times.
What do you mean?
At all times, room temperature?
Yes, at all times room temperature. Room temperature water is good. Very, very, very good.
Doctor, when you talk about room temperature, very many people may not understand what room temperature
The
is.
temperature, that like the water which you put there in your sitting room and wake up in the morning and find it there. It has picked the temperature of the room. It's not in the fridge. It's not in the. It has not been in the.
I left some water in the car. I can go pick it.
Yeah, that is the room temperature water. Okay. That's what I mean by room temperature. And you should take water only if you need it.
Only if you need it.
Yeah. Okay. If you are for good dieting, you can take a small glass of water just before a meal. Or then you have some water which
at least every morning, at least take 2
yeah,
glasses.
in the morning you should take about half a liter, And when you take that half a liter, you don't eat anything until after an hour. Then you eat some, you start eating, because that water in the morning acts as a detoxifying. It detoxifies the body system. It's very good, yeah. So, but not a matter of, you see people moving with a liter of water, is drinking, they drink water like a cows. No.
The doctor told me to take too much water.
No. Actually, if you drink too much water, what happens is that there is a fixed amount of water which is supposed to be in the body system. So if you take a lot of water, the body system has to regulate the one it wants. So as you are taking more water, more will come out. So you are going to have frequent urination. And by the way, the water that comes out is not the one which you drank, but the one which is already there with the mineral salts. That's why some people, when they take a lot of water, they end up being dizzy. Others, they end up being falling hungry all the time, because most of the waters which are coming out are moving out with the mineral salts and foods.
Doctor, let's move to what is the difference between blood group deity and genotype deity. That is Agatha Tuliasingura from Kololo.
Okay.
The difference between blood group.
When the blood group that was being developed, when this nutrigenomics was being in its initial research, the first thing that was discovered that was causing problems, health and so on, was the blood group. Was the interaction of the foods with the blood group. So that research by then was rolled out in 1970. It was rolled out in 1997. So by 1997, we were talking of a blood group. Okay, and actually that's why Dr. Peter Diadamo, whom we represent here in the region, wrote so many books about eat right for your type, live right for your type. They were all geared towards the blood group. Okay, it was, but then as the research went on, 10 years later, they discovered actually the whole problem is even beyond the blood group. It goes back to the gene. So now you don't eat foods according to blood group, but according to the genetic system. Many of the viewers, you should have gone to the internet and searched about blood group diet, and you are following blood group diet. Blood group diet is not going to give you maximum results. It will give you about 40%. So you have to come to Timex Nutrition Center and upgrade and get a genotype diet, which is specific for you. You may be able, for example, one may be a blood group O plus hunter. His food differs from a blood group O plus gatherer. And also that food differs from a blood group O plus explorer. 3 types of blood groups, they are O plus, because of the genotypes, the food is completely differ. For example, blood group O plus hunter, for them they take matoke, they take sweet potato. Now blood group O plus explorer, they don't take matoke, they don't take sweet potato. So there is a very big variety within the blood group.
Timex Nutrition Center is the way to go. My name is Peter Chomhendo from Masindi, blood group O plus hunter. I came there in 2017 with pressure, diabetes and arthritis. After your treatment, these diseases cured. Now, I want to know what to do to avoid prostate cancer.
You see, that's not very... Now, Peter, what you have to do is just maintain that diet. Peter, as long as you maintain the diet we gave you, there is no prostate cancer will find you. From where? There is no microorganism which cause it. There is nowhere where they vaccinate it from. You are going to vaccinate it in your cup, plate and glass. As long as you continue eating that food, the foods we told you, the diet, just as you saw those diseases going, there is no new diseases which are going to come. So just stick on your normal food. Don't get worried that what they will tell you so many stories. Just stick to your diet which is compatible. Use the blood group what?
Blood group O plus hunter.
O plus hunter. Of course, they are major victims of prostate cancer, especially after age 50, 60, if they are not eating the right foods. Blood group O, because you see, blood group O hunter, they have a very strong immune system. Okay. That's why if they are not eating the right foods, they are major victims of allergy, gas in the stomach, ulcers, joint pains, asthma, sinuses, high blood pressure, and prostate cancer in men after age 60.
There is a similar question. I am blood group A plus warrior. Now that my diabetes and ulcers are cured after your treatment, can I eat all foods again? This is Patience Cimenta from Ntungamo.
No, you cannot take these foods again. With the moment you take those foods again, the problems will come back. You see, in Cimenta, you have to understand that when you came to Timex Nutrition Center, what we did was to remove all the foods which were causing you the problems. That's why you recovered. You took the supplements, I think you took them once in a lifetime. Now, the moment you introduce these foods we told you not to take, then the problems will come back. So keep yourself healthy, eat those foods until death.
Until death.
Yeah.
Doctor,
and you don't have any issues with health.
We have 4 minutes left.
Yes.
I want us to finish with a one Ambrose Chibidige from Mitiana. Is it true that eating vegetables raw is better than the cooked ones?
No. At least one should give vegetables some small cooking. Why? You see, one of the reasons why there was a rapid development in human evolution from other animals was when they discovered the fire. Now it meant they could cook food, okay?
Yes.
And when they would cook food, it would take less time for digestion. They could have time to do other things. Now, the moment you eat raw things, they will take a long time for the body to break them down, then you absorb them into the body system. So at least they need some small cooking, small cooking. I don't believe in eating raw. Raw fruits are okay because for them they are, but raw vegetables, they will take time to be digested in the body system. You can imagine you are going to eat a raw carrot. By the time that carrot goes into the body system, you know how carrots are hard.
Yes.
By the time they move into the temperature of the body system, they start softening up, then they start getting out the motion. It's not very good.
Doctor, time is not our best ally, but I want I and our viewer to understand on all the issues that we have talked about. Now, the issue of foods is very key. But looking at our economy, our country, and the world at large, what is that common factor that we can all embrace to ensure that we can avoid some of these problems we are talking about? Because you've talked about eating the right foods. I may not frequent Timex, you know, but I want to know the right foods.
There is no way you can know the right foods until you come to Timex Nutrition Center and you know which foods are compatible to your blood group and genotype. However, if you are a bit unlucky, you are a bit lucky, you can sort of delay the coming of this community if you haven't come to Timex by trying to eat smaller portions and doing exercises, but it's always, it's not going to help you much. Come and know what should be taken as medicine in your body system.
Your last words to the viewer.
The last words to the viewer is, first of all, I wish you a very happy New Year. Secondly, if you are treating any condition, any disease, or you have a patient you are treating any disease, without coming to Timex Nutrition Center to tackle the root cause of the problem, the disease will not go. Because you are treating a disease, but you are not treating the root cause of the disease. And this is where most of our people are making the mistake. You cannot treat a disease without treating its root cause. You should treat it also when you are tackling the root cause, so that in the middle, the disease disappears and then the treatment stops. So that is the message which I'm telling you. Make food your medicine. If you don't make food your medicine, you'll be forced to make medicine your food.
Thank you so much. That is Dr. Ismail Tamale from Timex Nutrition Center. We're located along Timex Conrad Plaza. However, you're seeing the phone lines on your screens, so you can easily contact him and you will be helped in one way or another. From me and the entire crew, thank you so much for keeping it UBC. Up next is UBC News Tonight with Edward Kijanangoma. Good night.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.